If you're one of those people who's crazy enough to start and host a sex positive chapter, you will find one of your biggest issues comes around venues. So let's talk a little bit about where to find them, what to look for, and how to actually make it happen within your group. You may find yourself wandering around town trying to figure out what kind of place would have what you need. Because really you need like a private back room or some kind of space you can call your own, at least to be able to have socials, but things like cuddle parties and touch events could be a little more difficult. There's a few truths I've learned over the years of looking for venues, and for one is a lot of them want to charge you money, which you probably don't have because these organizations are all about being volunteer based. Two, the ones that are free are typically from partner organizations like LGBT centers or sex positive spaces like stores that are women owned in particular. And that may or may not give way for good access. One of the first places I found to do orientations for SP 805 was a toy and lingerie store that also hosted other kinky events. And it was a really great location, except the classroom space was up a flight of stairs. So when someone showed up that had a walker, it was very difficult for them to get up those stairs, and thankfully they could get up them at all. And part of what you have to think about in leadership is all of those groups of people that have different access than you do. It's imperfect. A place like the park can be easy enough to get together for a social. And with respect to COVID, it's still very safe for those who are not comfortable being indoors at this point. You can do a lot at the park. There's a lot of space for connection and conversation, and it's pretty easy to keep things moving. It can also work really well for a potluck. I was very fortunate to find this yoga studio as an option here locally. Yoga studios are pretty great because a lot of teachers do rent out the space and there tends to be a certain degree of privacy. Maybe you're fortunate enough to live in a place that's large enough to host lots of people, but many of us live in very small spaces, so it's always good to talk to people who have interest in your group about whether or not they have a living room that they would not mind having a dozen strangers in every now and then to come have fun, connecty events. A lot of times you'll see socials happening at bars because they're easy locations. They're meant for people to just hang out. So it might be worth your while to just go find a place where you can host a slosh or a munch that is just a bar. So it's a bunch of people getting together, usually with some kind of physical indicator that lets people know who you are. I oftentimes will put a sign on the table with the logo for our organization. Glow bracelets are really popular, but this could be a really great option. And with respect to COVID and confidentiality, that's difficult, because you have places like these that are wonderful outdoor spaces, and if it's warm enough where you are, that'd be nice, but not everywhere is Southern California. The other piece is confidentiality, so sometimes people really need like a back room in a restaurant to feel like they've had enough of their confidentiality respected, or to feel like they have enough privacy from their vanilla life. I hope this was helpful in being able to find venues that might work for you. If you have other ideas, I would love to hear them, because we learn about venues and what's working and what's not working from each other. I would love to hear about it. You can always go deeper on this and be part of a larger conversation if you join the Patreon. As always, like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, love you more.